See that? And then you spotlighted me, right? All right, everybody. Got a big, probably better not a garland if I'm playing the guitar. It's a big crew here today. Okay, so we're just going to check to make sure everybody's online and send a notice. All right, everybody. It's a big crew here today. Okay. Let me just send a notice out. Whoops. No, it's too noisy. Just leave it. Open the doors. Yeah, open up all the doors. But that one's too noisy. After the class, you could turn it on. But not right now. Okay, so everybody online, we are online on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Zoom at the present time. And let me just, okay. So welcome to all you Dice devotees. Welcome to the celebration of Lord Nrsimha's appearance day. It's so crowded here, we wish everybody keeps social distancing. Okay. It's okay. Oh. You don't mind if I play the guitar? He's the expert. When we get a lot of people here, you switch to the other camera where you can see me from the back. You can see that? No? Yeah. See? Look. No, look. Yeah, you see. When we get a lot of people, not now, it's too embarrassing. Because everybody's listening to me. You see that? They can see me from the back. So today is Lord Nrsimha's appearance day. And of course we'll get a lot more people later on when the dancing is there and the Abhishek is there, but somehow or other, if it's just me, it ain't as interesting. So we're going to chant the prayers to Lord Nrsimha first. And you're all invited to chant responsively. Namaste, Nrsimhaya. Namaste, Nrsimhaya. Baladalad, Dayane. Baladalad, Dayane. Hiranyakasi. Purva Purvakshaha Silatam Kanakolaya Silatam Kalaya Ito Nisinga Badato Nisinga Yato Yamita Tona Singa Bahir Singho Riday Singho Nasring Amatim Shatinam Prapa Joy Nasring Amatim Saranam Prapa Joy Nasring Amatim Shatinam Prapa Joy Sring Amatim Sharanam Prapadoy Namaste Nada Sringaya Namaste Nada Sringaya Paladalad Dayane Lad Dayane Hiranya Kashi Purvakshaha Hiranya Kashi Shilatam Kanakalaya Shilatam Kanakalaya Ito Nrsimha Caturdasi Singa para Dona Singa Yato Yamita Dona Singa Bahir Singo Vidayana Singo Bahina Singo Vidayana Singo Nrsimha Matim Sharanam Prapajoy Nrsimha Matim Sharanam Prapajoy Nrsimha Matim Sharanam Prapajoy Nrsimha Matim Sharanam Prapajoy Tamakara Kamalava Vrena Kama Buddha Singa Danita Hiranya Kasipu Tanubringa Kesavatrita Naradi Rupa Gaira Gare Sade Jai Ragadesa Regi Jai Ragadesa Re Tabakara Kamalabharena Kama Buddha Singam Ganita Hiranya Kasipu Tanu Bringam Kesavadrita Dharahari Rupa Daidagade Sade Jairagade Sade Jairagade Sade Tavakara Kamalaba Prayana Kama Buddha Singam Ganita Hiranya Kasipu Danu Bringam Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jairagade Sade Jairagade Sade Jairagade Sade Kavakara Kamalava Vrena Kama Buddha Singam Janita Hiranya Kasipu Danu Bringam Savadrita Narahari Rupa Jairagade Sade Jairagade Sade Jairagade Sade Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Nrsimha Dev, Nrsimha Dev, Nrsimha Dev, Jaya Nrsimha Dev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Nrsimha Dev, Nrsimha Dev, Nrsimha Dev, Jaya Nrsimha Dev. Jaya Nrsimha Dev, Jaya Nrsimha Dev. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa Paravatacharya, also Teta, Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti, Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopika Padnath Shai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Maturadam Ki Jai, Jagadasami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Vishwadaya Krishna Vastaya Budale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nirashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarni Somagana Timidanda Shagananjana Shilakaya Chakshuram Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master's divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So today is a very special day in the Vaishnava calendar. It's the appearance day. Well, it's the appearance day of Lord Nrsimha. It's also Mother Krishna Priya's birthday, so. There's a vast difference between Mother Krishna Priya and Lord Nrsimha Dev. A very big difference.
But in another sense, they're one.
They're one. Well, devotee and the Lord. Yeah, so they're both Satchidananda. Yeah, one is Jiva Tattva, one's Vishnu Tattva. But they're both Tattvas. So, let us speak about Lord Nrsimha Dev. So, the interesting thing that we learn from the Vedic literatures is that God is not a boring person. Now, most people around the world conceive of God as quite innocuous. That's a good word. In other words, he minds his business, and he goes and passes judgment on people, and he punishes the sinful and awards the pious. And the real pious people get to go to the kingdom of God, where you get to enjoy, it's like Disneyland, eternally. And God just minds his own business. He doesn't bother you while you're enjoying in heaven. So that's generally conception. But we find from the Bhagavad Gita, in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 29th verse, Krishna says, Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gatva shantim richati. And I'm going to concentrate on the first word, Bhoktaram. Bhoktaram means I am the enjoyer. enjoyer of everything. Just like when we want to criticize a spiritualist as being too much involved in material activities, we call them a bogey, right? A bogey means like a sense enjoyer. Someone tries to enjoy the body. Maybe we should turn on the air conditioner. Or, I don't know, maybe too loud. We'll have to think. See, turn it on, we'll see. We'll make an experiment because otherwise we're going to have to... Otherwise, we're going to have to get a peacock fan for Sundari. Fan or something like that. She's very hot. So, yeah, let's see. So, Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarva Lokamaheshwaram. So, I can tolerate. So, when we call someone an enjoyer or a sense enjoyer or bogey, as the sense or the word goes, it's actually an insult. Actually, Prabhupada talked about how there's different classes of people, bogies and yogis and rogis. A bogey is one who simply tries to enjoy this body thinking that's the all in all. I think you better turn it off. It's a little too loud for me. You can do it from there. Yeah. I mean, it's hard because I have sensitive ears. So a bogey is one who tries to enjoy the body. A yogi is one who tries to connect to Krishna in one of his various aspects. Rameti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan, Iti, Shabdyate. And a rogi is one who is sick. So Prabhupada, one time he was telling a joke, he said, anyway, if you have to go to the bathroom twice a day, you're a bogey, and if you have to go 3 times or more, what? You're a rogi, you're sick. So we're supposed to be yogis, anyway. And, but Krishna is a bogey. Now, how is that Krishna is a bogey? First of all, Krishna doesn't have a material body. We find from the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna has a body made of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. And so that sort of body you can enjoy. And you also have a body made of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. But that enjoyment that you get from your body of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, which you haven't recognized yet, because it's all covered up by the eightfold material elements, that enjoyment you get is actually imbued with bhakti. So the real enjoyment in this spiritual world, because of the Satchidananda body, is that of love, loving exchanges with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and with the Supreme Personality of Godhead's devotees. And so Krishna enjoys these loving exchanges. In fact, Krishna wants us to enjoy with him those loving exchanges, and he wants us to enjoy so much these loving exchanges that he comes down from time to time to start what we call disciplic successions. That means successions of spiritual masters, disciples to save us, and sometimes Krishna even appears as one's guru to guide one in spiritual attainment. It's said that by the mercy of Krishna one gets guru, and by the mercy of guru one gets Krishna. So Krishna is always thinking of ways to bring us back. So you may be thinking, if Krishna's thinking of always of ways to bring us back, and he always loves us, why is there so much misery in this world? You know, why doesn't he just bring us back, on the flower airplane or the Vaikuntha airplane or something like that, and just make it easy for us here? Well, the reason that it's not so easy for us here is because we are trying to emulate the Supreme Lord in this world. That's also described in Bhagavad Gita. We have this mantra we like to recite, that is, we conditioned souls. Ishwaro ham aham bogi siddho ham balavan sukhi, which means I am the Ishwara, instead of Ishwara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Ishwaro ham, I am the Ishwara, aham bogi, I'm the bogey. Bogey, I explained that before, enjoyer. Siddham, I'm perfect. I'm powerful. I'm happy. I'm in control. Well, if you think you're in control, can you control even what's happening inside your body? I doubt it. If you're married, can you control your wife or husband? I doubt it. Can you control your children? I doubt it. So what can you control? I mean, you can want something to happen, like I'm wanting my eyes to open up now. So, but let's say if I were to have an accident and, there's some paralysis, or a little leg, for example, how can I control it? People get paralyzed. So how are we the controllers? So anyway, so the reason we are not enjoying in this world is because we're trying to do something that's impractical. We're trying to be the controllers. We're trying to be the proprietors. What's that? All right. We're trying to be the enjoyers. So therefore, we're getting frustrated. And Krishna has arranged this material energy in such a way to frustrate us even more. The real misery comes from separation from Krishna. Because the real happiness is having a loving relationship with Krishna, and the real misery is separation from Krishna. But Krishna actually increases the misery in this world to help us understand this better. And that's the reason for the misery in this world, which is a question that's often asked. It's called theodicy. What is the justice of God? Why are good things happening to bad people, bad things happening to good people? Anyway, so getting back to the point, is the Lord's the enjoyer, and what does he enjoy? The exchanges with his devotees. That's it. And his exchanges with his devotees are not simply, let's say, stereotypical, I love you, you love me, I appreciate you, I love you, God. No. These exchanges are defined in different, what we call rasas, or tastes. Just like if you have a relationship with someone in this world, there's all sorts of varieties of tastes you have in that relationship. I mean, sometimes you're angry with the person. I mean, for example, like I have some disciples, sometimes I get angry with them. Sometimes I'm pleased with them. Sometimes. So there's a variety. Sometimes I'm scared for their welfare. Sometimes I'm shocked by what they do. I'm going over what's called the 7 indirect rasas. There's 7 indirect rasas, or tastes, that one can have in a relationship, and there's 5 direct tastes. The direct tastes are, you can just simply think, oh, someone's great. God, let's take it a relationship to God right now. God is great. He's wonderful. And the next one is, I'm a servant of God. That's the second one. Third one is, I'm God's friend. The next one is, I'm God's parent. And the last one is, I'm God's conjugal lover. This is very high. We're not going to get into those details, especially talking about Lord Nrsimha. It's not an appropriate time. So, and then apart from that, those 5 basic relationships, then there are 7 indirect relationships that flavor the basic relationships. Just like the spices, they may flavor some preparation of something that you eat. And so their relationships or spices like shock, anger, chivalry, humor. And so God exhibits all these different manifestations of relationships that we can imagine and some that we can't even imagine. God goes beyond our imagination. So now we're going to talk about Lord Nrsimha. So how does that relate to Lord Nrsimha? Okay, Lord Nrsimha is a half man, half lion incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why does he come down? Why does God appear like that? Well, you could say, the basic story is that once upon a time, there was a big demon. His name was Hiranyakashipu. He liked gold and soft beds. Gold bed. Anyway, and he had a brother who was named Goldeye, Haranyaksha. His brother was killed, got angry with the Lord. And Hiranyakashipu was torturing all the poor souls, especially his poor son. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to chant Hare Krishna. And he tried to kill Prahlad Maharaj many times. So you can go through this whole story, tried to kill him, and finally Lord Nrsimhadev pops out of the pillar and kills him. So you can say, all right, Parichanaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam, easy to understand, that Krishna comes to annihilate the miscreants and establish religious principles and protect the devotees, which is true. But these are called exoteric purposes. In other words, they're apparent purposes which everybody understands. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, that was the verse I just quoted. Everybody understands that. God comes down to establish religious principles, protect the devotees, and annihilate the miscreants. Miscreants, for those of you who don't know what that means the bad guys. So, and certainly Lord Nrsimhadev did that. But I got news for you. Lord Nrsimhadev didn't have to come down to do that. Krishna didn't have to come down to arrange for the battle of Kurukshetra and drive the chariot of Arjuna. Krishna didn't have to appear as Lord Boar. Doesn't have to. Because we have this thing, for us, we have to do things to accomplish a particular purpose, right? Like when we want something, we gotta usually work for it. Like I built this temple, or Krishna built it. No, Krishna didn't build it. Anyway, I was Krishna's instrument, and I had to lay the blocks. If I just desired, let there be a temple. So actually, sometimes people say that, about Prabhupada, let there be a temple. He worked at it. He wanted, Jagat Purush Prabhu, he was instrumental in helping Prabhupada in the temple in Bombay, right? It was hard work, wasn't it? It's not that Prabhupada just sat back and said, let there be a temple. No, I mean, they had to collect money, they had to do so many things, and there probably was problems getting enough cement, right? Like there was in Vrindavan, there was problems with cement. And sometimes they put a lot of sand in the cement, and maybe not in Bombay, but in Vrindavan it happened like that. And things collapsed. So when we want to do something, even for Krishna, it requires some endeavor. But for Krishna, God, for those of you who don't know who Krishna is, he's aptakama. That means he gets what he wants when he wants it. Wouldn't that be nice if we had that tendency? No. Because you'd be in trouble. It's like that Midas touch guy. He got this Midas touch, and then he turned everything to gold, including his wife and kids, So, no, it's not a good thing if we have that particular ability. It's not a good thing. So, aptakama, and therefore he's also swarat. We mentioned this morning in class too. Swarat means he's independent. So whatever he wants, he gets whenever he wants. So getting back to the Nrsimhadev story, that here is poor Prahlad Maharaj being tortured by Hiranyakashipu. So Lord Nrsimhadev or Krishna could have just wished him dead like that. Right? He doesn't have to think, because all of Krishna's energies, God's energies, are first-class servants. A first-class servant is one who does what forget about the word master. It's not politically correct. Boss. Okay. Is there a more politically correct word? Boss. Facilitator. Okay, I'm just trying to be modern and politically correct. So a first-class employee, a first-class servant, just joking aside, does what the boss wants without being asked, because he knows what? The intention, the mind, the desire of the boss. Just like Rupa Goswami, who is our acharya, we're called Rupanugas. It's called Rupa. He's called our acharya, and we are called Rupanugas because Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam. Stapitam Yena Bhutale. If you, those of you who don't know what that means, he understood the intention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You understand? So that's a first-class service. So Krishna has his energies. Parasha Shaktir Vibhadaiva Shuyate Swabhavaki Jnana Balakriyacha. Multifarious energies. We're one of Krishna's energies, but we're right now uncooperative energy. But Krishna's energies are first-class servants. In other words, they do what Krishna wants just because he wants it. A second-class servant does what the facilitator master wants, but he has to be asked. And he does it gladly. Oh, yes, thank you for giving me those instructions. A third-class servant also does what the boss wants, but he does it in a grumbling way. Oh, why did he ask me to do this? I got to do it. If I don't do this, I'll get fired. Oh, I got to do arti today for the deities. I got to go to Mangal Arti because this temple president and his Gurudev said I can't eat breakfast unless I go to Mangal Arti. Right? We were threatening like that. You know, somehow or other, argumentum ad vaculum, it's called, the stick. So that's a third-class servant. And a 10th class, guess what? Doesn't do anything at all. May do the opposite, but he just doesn't do it. He or she doesn't do it. So the energy is a first-class service. So when God wants something, let's say actually, if God wanted there to be no demons, there wouldn't be any demons. Now, what's a demon anyway? Okay, I think I need to go back a little bit. A demon is not simply someone who has big teeth like this sticking out. You understand? Fangs. Naturally, Prabhupada uses the word demon a lot in his books. And when I was young, if someone said someone was a demon, I thought he had a forked tail and horns coming out of his head. And that's what I thought demons were. But when Prabhupada uses the word demon, he means in regard to someone who doesn't accept G-O-D. God, that's all. I mean, a simple thing. It's a pejorative, yes. But it doesn't mean that someone is uncultured, a slob, ugly, or anything like that. Like you have Hiranyakashipu, we're talking about. He's quite a handsome chap. Hiranyakashipu, who is the father of Prahlad Maharaj, he was expert in the Bhagavad Gita philosophy, at least the second chapter. Because the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita teaches what? You're not the body. Dehinosmen yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tata dehanturas praptir diras tatra namuyati. What does it teach? That you're undergoing changes of the body from boyhood or girlhood to youth and then to old age, and then you die, and then you take another body. That's science. That's not... It has nothing to do with religion, basically, in terms of sectarianism. So that's what Hiranyakashipu, this demon, understood. He was a cultured demon. Ravan, who was also a demon, he was cultured. He was so cultured that when great personalities wanted to do a fire sacrifice, they would invite Ravan to help them with the fire sacrifice because he could pronounce the mantras better than they could. He's a sophisticated guy. I mean, if you met him, you would think, what a gentleman this guy is. Just doesn't like God, That's a little issue. Little problem. So that's what Prabhupada meant by demons. So, anyway, of course, Hiranyakashipu did a lot of things that weren't gentlemanly, like trying to kill his son and stopping the Brahmanas from performing sacrifices. But still, he was quite educated, quite intelligent. And we were telling the story this morning that when his brother died, Hiranyaksha died, was killed by Vishnu in the form of a Lord Boar, he actually preached Bhagavad Gita philosophy to his relatives. And he said, you know, you're not the body, you know, it's the karma. What can you do? So, anyway, so that's what a demon is. So Krishna arranges for specific personalities to come down and act demoniacally so that he can enjoy certain activities that he doesn't enjoy in the spiritual world. Activities like fighting, like ghastliness. That's one of the indirect rasas. You know, ghastly, does everyone know what ghastly means? Like if you were to see like blood flowing in the middle of the temple room, that's ghastly. I'm not saying we should do that. That's ghastliness and anger. And in order to do or experience those particular rasas or tastes, Krishna wants to do it with his devotee, not with some ordinary run-of-the-mill American politician. An ordinary run-of-the-mill demon. He wants to do it exchange these rasas with his devotees. So sometimes you'll find that devotees leave the spiritual world, not just to preach. I mean, some devotees leave the spiritual world to preach. They're called Shaktavesha avatars, like Prabhupada came down to preach Krishna consciousness, and Buddha came down for a specific purpose, even Parshuram came down for a specific purpose, and other, Prithu and Archie, that's also Shaktavesha avatar of the Supreme Lord. But apart from those who come down to preach, then Krishna arranges for his devotees in the spiritual world to come down, and sometimes he uses the excuse of having them cursed, so they'll come down and become demons and fight with him. So Krishna can enjoy that exchange. So in this particular case, you know, the story goes that in the spiritual world, you have some guards. I'm sure they don't have guns. They don't have that in the spiritual world. Anyway, they're guarding the spiritual world, and these four personalities, the Kumaras, they're four little boys, innocent little boys. They try to enter the spiritual world, and these two personalities, Jai and Vijay, who were guarding the spiritual world, didn't recognize them. It didn't understand how great they were. Actually, they weren't that great because they weren't devotees at that point. They were Brahmavadis. They were absorbed in Brahman, like that, rather than being absorbed in the personal aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they became devotees just by smelling the tulsi leaves and flowers offered to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So anyway, so they were stopped, the four Kumaras. They were stopped by Jai and Vijay. And the Kumaras got angry. I'm telling the story real quickly because I think everybody knows it. And they were cursed. Jai and Vijay were cursed to come down. They were given the chance, 7 births as devotees or 3 births as demons, and they chose to become demons. And the demons that they became were Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, which we mentioned today, and also Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and Dantavakra and Shishupal, all of whom were killed by Krishna. So Krishna enjoyed, and when he, not only does he enjoy this exchange, but he enjoys putting on different guises to do this too. I mean, sometimes Krishna appears as he is when he killed all those demons in Vrindavan, right? And the demons that get killed by Krishna get liberated. So you may say, oh, these 4 demons, that even there's demons who didn't come from the spiritual world, they get liberated. And some of the demons who get killed by Krishna, they go back to the spiritual world. like Putana and some of the others, by the mercy of Krishna. So it's all merciful, loving exchange between Krishna and his parts and parcels. So therefore, Krishna sometimes appears as half man, half lion. That's the Lord Nrsimhadev incarnation. Sometimes he appears as Varaha Nrsimha. That's another incarnation. So it's explained in the Padma Purana and the other Vedic literatures there's 8,400,000 species of life. So Krishna appears in each and every one of those species of life. That's pretty amazing. So one day if you see an ant crawling on the floor with a peacock feather, don't put him out of the temple room. Krishna must have an ant incarnation. Right? Krishna must have a bear incarnation. Krishna must have, well, he does have a fish incarnation. We know about that one already. And then Krishna makes incarnations in species that don't even exist. So there's more than 8,400,000. Like he combined, mixes and matches. Lord Nrsimhadev is a mix and match. I mean, where have you ever seen a half man, half lion? I haven't seen one except in the case of Lord Nrsimhadev. So he comes down to enjoy, as we were talking about in the beginning of this whole discussion, because he's the enjoyer. He's the supreme enjoyer. Bhaktaram Jagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheswaram. And if someone understands this, getting back to that particular verse, 529 in the Gita, Bhaktaram Jagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheswaram Suridam Sarvavotanam Gyatwamam Shanti Mrichati, one becomes peaceful. And that's really the point. When we see Lord Nrsimhadev, or see him, hopefully he's not attacking you, but anyway, when you hear about his pastimes, then you just think how the Lord is enjoying it. And not only that, you should think how you can give the Lord enjoyment. That's the switch in consciousness that we need to have. Now, of course, when people first start spiritual life, they start for their own ulterior purposes. As Krishna says in the Gita, Chatur Vidha Bhajanti Mam, people come to me because they're looking for wealth. They're looking for knowledge. They're in distress, or they're just a little curious there. You know, so everyone who comes to God in this world has some ulterior purpose. But ultimately, what satisfies the self, according to the Bhagavatam, Savai Pumsam Parodharma Yata Bhaktir Hoksjay Hoitakiya Pratita Yatma Suprasidate. So that verse, Yatma Suprasidate, means to satisfy the self. What really satisfies the self is Hoitakiya Pratita. No material motivation, a pratyata, and not stopped under any condition, service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the perfect example of that, getting back to Lord Nrsimhadev, it's not just a Bhagavad Gita class, is Prahlad Maharaj. Here's a perfect example of someone who continued to serve the Lord under all circumstances, and there was no material reason for him serving the Lord. So what is the story of Prahlad Maharaj? Well, of course, he had the association of Narada Muni when he was in the womb of his mother. That helps. As we know, nurture is more important than nature. The Prabhupada said at one time, virtually only demoniac blood flowed in Prahlad Maharaj's body. But still, because he had that association with Narada Muni, everything changed. That's another point. Sadhu Sangha, Sarvasastra Koi, Labhamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarvasiddhi Hoy. So anyway, so Prahlad Maharaj, shortly after he was born, or maybe right after he was born, or during the time of the womb, he was completely dedicated to serving the Lord. And not only serving the Lord and chanting and everything like that, you know, the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smartam, etc., hearing, chanting, remembering, etc., that He even was trying to share. This is the boldness of a devotee. Abhaya sattva samshriti jnana yoga vyavastitahi. The boldness of a devotee trying to share Krishna consciousness in the most difficult circumstance. Perfect example of apratiyata, not deterred in any circumstance. What was that most difficult circumstance? He was preaching at his school. And we're not talking about NC State or ECU or what else? UNC. But his school was a school filled with the sons of the demons. His father's best friends. And his teachers were certainly averse to the glorification of the Supreme Personality of God. Their names were Sunda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya. Shukracharya would sometimes worship Vishnu to get something from him, but when it came time for Vishnu to collect the rent, he refused to give. So anyway, just all these kids who were just like trained up. There's no God. There's no God. There's no God. You can be the God. You can be God. You're the Lord of your universe. Anyway, Lord of your life. And so they were trained up. And Prahlad Maharaj was in school getting them to chant. Of course, he did wait until it was, as Prabhupada said, the tiffin hour. Prabhupada's like, wonderful expression. Tiffin hour means time for lunch. Tiffins are like the thing that people carry their luncheon. So I would just visualize Sunda and Amarka carrying their tiffins. Well, that's pretty amazing. And so he preached to them. They come back in and find all the kids like having a good time, the kirtan and everything like that. And they would, several times they took him to his father. His father tried to do so many horrendous things to him. Talk about child abuse. There's never been a child abuser as bad as Hiranyakashipu. Throwing your kid in the vipers, a whole pit of vipers, throwing him off a cliff, having your wife feed him poison, putting him in fire. There's this whole story about Holika, having your sister hold him in the middle of the fire because his sister was supposed to be immune from fire, but she got burnt to a crisp. So all these things were done. And what does he do? He doesn't stop chanting. He goes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And his father asked him, what's the best thing you learned in school? And he says to his father, Dad, you better give up everything, You better take sannyas, or go to the Vanaprastha, not sannyas. And, how can someone say something like that? Here's this guy, practically, he's got everybody in the whole universe frightened of him. A little kid, and he's talking back to his father. Oh my God. And Krishna protected him in every instance, of course. Of course, don't try that at home. That would be very dangerous, because people do that. Oh, I chanted Nrsimha, Nrsimha, Nrsimha. I was speeding the other day in my car, and the police pulled up, and I was chanting Nrsimha, 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 Jai Nrsimha, Shri Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha Dev, Paladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringa. And he pulls up, and I'm thinking he's going to say, that's all right, you can go. But it wasn't. So I was thinking, why didn't Lord Nrsimhadev protect me? Well, there's another verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Nanyas Chintayanto Mam Yejanak Paripasite, that you have to be completely absorbed in Krishna and not speeding in your car. And Krishna never says, I'll protect you from speeding tickets. So I had to go to my lawyer instead of Krishna. And he protected me. So the point is, Prahlad Maharaj completely, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. There was no other focus of Prahlad Maharaj's mind. Ye janak paripasite. Yogakshema vahamiham. Then Krishna preserves what you have, he protects you, and carries what you lack. So, therefore, Prahlad Maharaj was protected. Okay, and so let's. I'm not going to tell the whole story. So one thing led to another, and eventually, Hiranyakashipu had had enough with Prahlad Maharaj and was getting ready to kill him personally. But first, he wanted to find out where you get your power from. And Prahlad Maharaj said, the same place you get your power from, because all power comes from Krishna. Isn't it? Aham sarvasya prabho matak sarvam pravartate. And so, and then Hiranyakashipu says, where's your God? And Prahlad Maharaj says, he's everywhere. And Hiranyakashipu says, he's in the pillar. Asks. Prahlad Maharaj said, yeah, sure. And then Hiranyakashipu goes and he tries to strike the pillar, saying, I'm going to kill your God. And God, Lord Nrsimha, pops out of the pillar and does an intestectomy on Hiranyakashipu. That means he takes out his intestines. And of course, we're not going to... Anyway, there's a lot more to the story about how he's not supposed to be killed in the day or in the night, inside or outside. So the Lord made the arrangement to kill him in the twilight hours, which is when we can break the fast, in the doorstep, which is not inside or outside. So in this way, he killed him. But the point I'm making, the real point I'm making, is that Prahlad Maharaj's devotional service was a haitakiya pratyata. Because even after that, God kills his father, okay, free of his father. But you would think that Prahlad Maharaj would be jumping in ecstasy. And not only jumping in ecstasy because the guy who harassed me is dead, but also jumping in ecstasy because Lord Nrsimha offered him whatever he wanted. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? I wouldn't mind if God said to me, whatever you want, dear Krishna Maharaj, you can have. I would have a long laundry list for him if he came, new car, so many things. So anyway, not really. So he offered him whatever you want. Not only that, but Lord Nrsimha took Prahlad Maharaj, put him on his lap, because Prahlad Maharaj was the only one able to pacify him, to get him to quell his anger, and he licked him. I mean, those of you who have cats, you know what it means when a cat licks you. Oh, he loves me. So Lord Nrsimha, I mean, it's amazing. Because he was able to show his love for his devotee by licking him. Putting him on his lap and licking him. And then he said to Prahlad Maharaj, whatever you want. And Prahlad Maharaj didn't forget his devotion at that point. That's even more, can deviate us even more than miseries, is when we're offered something nice. It's easier for me, at least, to remember God when everything's going bad. If something goes bad, I just go for a long walk and chant japa for like 20 hours without stop. But if everything's going good, I rejoice and forget God. So here is God offering him everything, and he says, I'm not a merchant. I'm not baniya. I'm not a merchant. The only relationship we have is I'm your servant. You see this? Not deterred under any circumstance, a haitakiya pratyata. And then he manifests the foremost quality of a Vaishnava after that. And he says, I am overwhelmed with compassion for the living entities, also his father. And he's asking Lord Nrsimha to give compassion, to help the living entities, especially to help his father. And then Lord Nrsimha assures him that many generations of his family, horizontal and vertical, will actually be liberated like that. And then Lord Nrsimha says, I'm never going to kill anyone in your family anymore. So even though there's future descendants of Prahlad Maharaj, there were really challenged individuals in different ways, like Banasura, Lord Nrsimha or Krishna doesn't kill them. So anyway, the point I'm making is the glorification of Prahlad Maharaj, the glorification of devotional service. And the point is that that's what will really make us happy. Yayatma suprasidate, savai pumsam, parodharma yato bhakya hoksajay, ahoitakiya pratiyataha yatma suprasidate. So if you want to be happy, then love is the only way. And love means simply desiring the happiness, the enjoyment, like we said, bhoktaram jakatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram, the enjoyment of Krishna. And that gives you the greatest happiness. When you're no longer aspiring for your own happiness, but trying to love and give, that gives you the greatest happiness. So this is a story about Lord Nrsimhadev, and we finished right on time. Pretty good timing. So thank you very much. We have a very nice dance. Not me. What's that? Yeah, now you can turn the air conditioner on. Because the dance is going to be louder. All glory is to His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premananda. Gauranga. Okay, and after the dance, there's going to be a havan. Oh, you're going to announce anyway.
Okay.
You think it's too crowded?
I was thinking that we'll do Abhishek, but go quickly, whole family can come offer and... No worries. Hare Krishna. So thank you everyone for joining us. Today is a very auspicious day, the appearance day of Sri Nrsimha Bhagwan. Sri Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, Sri Prahlad Maharaj ki, Sri Sri Radha Golokananda ki, Giriraj Govardhan ki, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining us. So first of all, let's thank Maharaj for the wonderful class on glories of Lord Nrsimha. His Holiness bkgoswami Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. Sorry. I just wanted to, Maharaj, appreciate that I absolutely love when you sing the Lord Nrsimha prayers. It just feels like it's coming out from your heart and it's going straight to the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha, and you're carrying this this beautiful tune, and I just feel like holding on to your lotus feet, and hopefully you can carry all of us along. Your Nrsimha prayers are extremely, extremely beautiful. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So we have a wonderful program. We have many more activities coming. So right now, we are going to have the dance performance, as Maharaj already announced, by Champaklata Mataji and a group. And we'll need to reorient everyone, and I'll make that announcement immediately after I finish the schedule. So immediately dance performance, we'll have the Abhishek ceremony, and we'll have the Abhishek of Lord Nrsimha. We have two beautiful deities here, so we'll give an opportunity for everyone. You can bathe Lord Nrsimha. And after the Abhishek, we'll have the Yagya, Nrsimha Mahayagya, and in the Yagya we'll be reciting 108 names of Lord Nrsimha. And also we'll be having the Nrsimha Stotram. So it's going to be very, very auspicious. And also it's coming close to the dusk time. So the yajna will be right at the time when Lord Nrsimhadev actually killed Hiranyakashipu. So very, very auspicious time. And particularly this year we planned a yajna for protection of all devotees. And also with this COVID, we have seen like many of us have lost close ones. So we want to have this yajna for protection of everyone, right? And request special mercy of Lord Nrsimhadev. Right? So we'll have the yajna, after there'll be a arti, and then we'll have the Mahaprasadam feast dinner, which will be served downstairs. Right? And also our fasting is to dusk, so that will be a good schedule, and we'll be in dusk when the prasadam will be actually served. Okay? So thank you so much. So without further ado, we'll start the dance. And also we need 2 volunteers in the kitchen for the bhoga preparation. If anyone would like to volunteer with the cooking, please let me know, and you can come in the kitchen and help. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. So we have 2 volunteers. Wonderful. Okay, so the dance is going to be on this side, right, facing the deity. So everyone needs to move on this side, like this side of the temple. So almost half of the temple room. So from Prabhupada up to the door right there, they need that space for the dance. And also if you need to enter or exit, please use the side doors. This main door is going to be closed. Hare Krishna. Where is the... Where's temple?
A lot more space over there. Yeah, we need from like where I'm standing straight that way. There's more space on this side. So what do I have to do? I'm trying to do a sound test.
What's the problem? Is it on?
It's the temple room one, right?
Temple room is the volume.
Yeah, I turn it up, but nothing. I don't know.
We got to turn this one up too.
It is up. It's all the way up. Do I have to turn the microphone on?
Yeah.
அல்லவோ அலை மகளுடன் உரை திருமாலவன் கரமலரது கவலை தீர்த்திடும் அபயகரம்
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, yeah, now it's good. Okay. So I'm actually really excited about this dance performance today. This is a song that I've been in love with for years and years. It's a song that I would listen to on repeat just because it's that beautiful. So the repeated phrase, it's 3 words. Abhayakaram, Allavo. So you might be familiar with Abhaya. Abhaya means fearless. Karam. Karam we have in the Tava Kara Kamalavarena. Tava Kara, your karas, your hands. So your hands, speaking of course to Krishna, aren't they the ones, Allavo means aren't they the ones that grant Abhaya, that grant fearlessness? And for me, that's just such a beautiful meditation to think about how Krishna is loving us with his hands. So this is actually a Dashavatar. It goes through all the 10 incarnations, of course including Nrsimha. Instead of Buddha, it focuses on Krishna, specifically in the story where he uses his hands to save Draupadi. So every single stanza of this song starts with Abhayakaram Allavo. Aren't they the hands that rescued the Vedas as Matsya? Aren't they the hands that lifted the Mandara mountain as Kurma? Aren't they the hands that rescued Bhumi when she was submerged in the ocean as Varaha? Aren't they the hands that saved Prahlad Maharaj from his evil father? Aren't they the hands as Parashuram that rid the earth of those cruel kings? Aren't they the hands as Lord Rama who lifted the bow in order to wed Sita? Aren't they the hands as Lord Balaram that lovingly cared for and protected his younger brother Krishna? Aren't they the hands that saved Draupadi? Aren't they the hands as Kalki who rid the earth of her burden of sinful people at the end of Kali Yuga? So the first stanza, it's called the Pallavi, and then there's the Anupallavi, focuses on how as Lakshmi Narayan, that Narayan is embracing Lakshmi with his hands. So the entire song is a meditation on Krishna's hands. So please relish this beautiful dance, Abhayakaram Allavo.
அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அலைமகளுடன் உரை திருமாலவன் கரமலரது கவலை தீர்த்திடும் அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அலைமகளுடன் உரை திருமாலவன் கரமலரது கவலை தீர்த்திடும் அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அலைமகளுடன் உரை திருமாலவன் கரமலரது கவலை தீர்த்திடும் அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அழகு கரம் அல்லவோ அழகு கரம் அணைத்திடும் கரம் அல்லவோ அழகு கரம் அல்லவோ அலமேலும் அன்னையை அணைத்திடும் கரம் அல்லவோ பதனி சரி தப மக மப கமக கமக ரி சரி 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 கரி கமக மப ரி கம சரி கம சரி கம ப கம ப பத மப பத மப தனி சரி தனி சரி தனி சரி கரி சரி தனி ரி சரி தப த சரி தப ம அபயகரம் அல்லவோ ஆழியில் மறைத்த அரும் நான் மறை தன்னை அள்ளி தந்த அபயகரம் அல்லவோ ஆழியில் மறைத்த அரும் நான் மறை தன்னை அள்ளி தந்த மக சரி சக கசக பகம பமப கமப நிச நிச சனி ச கனி ச பனி ச சக சனி ச நி பனி நி கரி சனி தனி நிச நித பத சனி தவ மரபய கரம் அல்லவோ மந்தரகிரி மலை தன்னை தாங்கி அமிர்தம் கடைந்திட அருள் செய்த அபயகரம் அல்லவோ மந்தரகிரி மலை தன்னை தாங்கி அமிர்தம் கடைந்திட அருள் செய்த சானித பமத பாமகரி சரிக கரிக சானி தனி சரி ரிக கம மப பத தனி சரி கரி அமதவ நிர சானி ரிக சரி கம நித சானி த கரி சனி தனி ரிசனி த பத சனி தவ மபயகரம் அல்லவோ அகிலம் ஆங்கும் அன்னை பூதேவிகை காத்த அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அகிலமும் ஆங்கும் அன்னை பூதேவிகை காத்த சாணி தமக சாணி தமக கமனி நிச கமகரி நிசரித நிசரித மமகரி கரி சனி கரி நிசரித பத சனி தவ மபய கரும் அல்லவோ அரும் நரசிம்மாகிரண்யன் உடல் தன்னை கிழித்தருள் செய்த அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அரும் நரசிம்மாய் கிரண்யன் உடல் தன்னை கிழித்தருள் செய்த பத பத சத ச பத சரிகா கரி சரி சத பத கரி சத ச பத சரிகா கரி சத ச கரி சரி சத பத ச கரி சனி தனி சனி த பத சனி தவ அபயகரம் அல்லவோ மூன்றடி மண் கேட்டு மூவுலகும் அளந்த வாமனாய் அருள் செய்த வயகரம் அல்லவோ மூன்றடி மழ் கேட்டு மூவுலகும் அளந்த வாமனாய் sari ga sa sa da sa ni da da ga ma ga sa sa sari ga ma da ga ga sa sa ni da ma sa sa ni da ma ga sa sari ga ma da sari ga ri sa ni da ni ri sa ni da ba da sa ni da ba ma ba ye karum allavo எண்ணரும் பரசுராமனாய் ஏற்கலப்பை தன்னை ஏந்திய அபயகரம் அல்லவோ எண்ணரும் பரசுராமனாய் ஏற்கலப்பை தன்னை ஏந்திய Gamagari sa, nisa nida pa, gamagari sa, nida mamaga, nisa, gari nisa, nida mapa, gari nisa, manisa nida baba gari nisa, nida mapa, gari nisa, mama gari sa, nida ba gari sa, nida ba grama pa nisa, gari sa nida ni, nisa nida ba da, sa nida baba, abaye karam, allavo. அன்புடன் சீதையை மணம் செய்ய அருகில் தன்னை உடைத்தபய கரம் அல்லவோ அன்புடன் சீதையை மணம் செய்ய அருகில் தன்னை ma 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 da ni da 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 ri da re sa ni sa ri sa da sa ni ma ni da ga re sa ni da ni ri sa ni da ba da sa ni da ba ma ba ye karum allavo annan anbu aridan அறியச் செய்ய பலராமனாய் அருளிய அபயகரம் அண்ணன் அன்பு அரிதன்று அறியச் செய்ய பலராமனாய் அருளிய மபதகாரிணி நபாத சாரி ma da sa re ma ga re sa ni da ba ma ga sa re ma ba da sa re sa ga re sa ni da ni re sa ni da ba da sa ni da ba ma ba ye karam abalayai sabayil நின்ற பாஞ்சாலியின் மானம் தன்னை காத்த அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அபலையாய் சபையில் நின்ற பாஞ்சாலியின் மானம் தன்னை காத்த சரி மணி பகாரி சரி மபரி சனி மபனி சரி மகாரி கமரி கசரி தீசா Ni bagari ni sakari sani dani sani da bada sani da baba karam allavo kaligadam ஓடியில் புறவியில் ஏறிய கவலைகள் தீர்க்க வந்தருளும் அபய கரம் அல்லவோ கலிகதம் ஓடியில் புறவியில் ஏறிய கவலைகள் தீர்க்க வந்தருளும் சாரி நீ சபானி மா பரே மணி பவ பவரே மணி சாரி ரே மா மா பா பா பானி சாரி நீ சா சாரி மணி மா பா பானி சாரி மணி சாரி பானி சா மா பானி சாரி பானி சாரி பா மணி ரி சா ரி சா ni da ni sa ni da ba da sa ni da ba ma ga ba ya karam allavo அலை மகளுடன் உரை திருமாலவன் கரமலரது கவலை தீர்த்திடும் அபயகரம் அல்லவோ அலை மகளுடன் உரை திருமாலவன் கரமலரது கவலை தீர்த்திடும் அபயகரம் அல்லவோ
Is there? Oh. Thank you so much. We've been obviously meditating on this and absorbed in it for a very, very long time. But it's always a different flavor when we do it for all the assembled Vaishnavas and for Radhika Lokananda. All of a sudden there's a new sweetness to it. Thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. So I'd like to thank my dancers, not just for learning and dancing, but for doing a lot of the choreography themselves. Most of the dance sequences that you saw us doing, often as solos, generally when they were done as solos, they were choreographed by the dancers themselves. And Shrujana and Radhasmarna, you may have noticed, if you have some knowledge of dance, they brought their kuchipudi knowledge into this dance as well. So we actually had what's called a jugal bandi at the final dance sequence, the final swara, or you could also call it a jati, where Shrujana was doing kuchipudi and some Bharatanatyam, but she was doing kuchipudi in the center while we all did Bharatanatyam around her. So I'm just overwhelmed constantly. Like, there's never a time that I'm with these amazing girls where I'm not struck by how incredible it is that I get to dance with them. So thank you very, very much. I was realizing also that I failed to mention Vamandev when I went through the incarnations in the beginning. I don't know if any of you noticed, but I know my dancers noticed. So, Jai, all glories to Vamandev. Actually, I adore him. So it was not a purposeful omission. Okay, so we have Shweta Manjari. Each dancer took responsibility for a particular avatar. The one she took responsibility for was Krishna, the story of Draupadi. Radha Smarna. She took responsibility for Ram avatar. Shrujana took Parashurama and Kalki. Rajvi did Kurma. Mancha did Matsya and Balaram. And Nishala did Vamandev. Varaha was mine. And last but certainly not least, on this most special day of Nrsimha Caturdasi, we all pooled in our thoughts and creativity for the Nrsimha part. So thank you again, and I believe now there is Abhishek and Fire Yagya. I'm actually so excited about the video I posted today that I will shamelessly promote my channel. It's Champaka, no H, Champaka, so camp, AKA. And yeah, I had so much fun doing today's video. It's called Sri Nrsimha Loves Hiranyakashipu Too. So check it out.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so again we need to reorient ourselves. At least those devotees who are on this side, please, if you can give some space, we'll have the Abhishek ceremony right there. Okay, so again, let's just wonderfully thank Champaklata Mataji and all the wonderful devotees for their amazing performance. So let's give them one more Haribol. Haribol! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Maharaj, will you start that? Yeah. So Maharaj will start the Abhishek. Aarti, please. We have not heard you lead Kirtan, so we would like to start.
I haven't learned Kirtan for
So long.
It looks like everything is working now.
Jagat Purush will start. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. Can we get everyone's attention? Hare Krishna. Let's loudly raise our hands and loudly call out for the mercy of Sri Radha Golokananda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so just so that everyone knows our plan, so we are going to have the Abhishek right there. And we'll be having two lines, one coming from that side, and we are going to make some space here. So second line will be here. And we request the families to come together. Entire family can come and offer Abhishek together. Okay? And during the Abhishek, we'll have wonderful kirtans. So please sing loudly, sing with your hearts, and let's really call out for the mercy of Lord Nrsimha Dev Bhagwan. Hare Krishna. Jaya
Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Hasyatya Dasatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Nrsimha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Hare Hare. Namaste Nrsimhaya, Namaste Nrsimhaya. Prahlada Dayone, Prahlada Dayone. Hiranya Kasipo Vaksha, Hiranya Shila Tangala Kala Shila Tangala Kala Hitonish Remo Paratonish Remo Paratonish Remo Yato Yamita Tonish Remo Yato Yamita Tonish Remo Bahir Nishrima Redai Hey Nishrima Ahir Nishrima Hey Nishrima Nishringamadim Sharanam Prapadai Abakara Kamalavare Nakam Abuta Shringham Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu bring home Kesavadvita Narahare Rupa Jai Jagadita Hare Jai Jagadita Hare Jai Jagadita Hare Avakara Kamalavare Nakam Abuta Shringham Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu bring home Kesavadita Narahare Rupa Jai Jagadita Hare Jaya Jagadita Hare Avakara Kamalavare Nakama Buddha Shringham Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu bring home Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadita Hare Jaya Jagadita Hare Jai Jagadita Hare Avakara Kamalavare Nakama Buddha Shringham Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu bring home Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadita Hare Jaya Jagadita Hare Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadita Hare Jaya Jagadita Hare Jai Jagadita Hare Jai Jagadita Hare Jagadita Hare Jaya Jagadita Hare Jaya Nrsimha Jaya Nrsimha Jaya Nrsimha Jaya Nrsimha Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Nanda Radha Golokananda. Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe.
Go ahead. Hey, Bol Prabhu. Louder, louder.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vajini.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Slower.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Keep it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Everyone together, everyone together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.